Rock and Roll Hall of Famer Lou Reed. Now I know people want to know, wow, piece of Lou Reed. You know, let me quite paint a picture for people out there to know who Lou Reed is. One of the greatest singer-songwriters in our history, and also known as the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. That's to all the masses out there that really know who he is. But on the flip side, people today that I have come across this, they don't know. I'll give you an example, and then I'm gonna shoot on it. Okay, this was like a few years back. I went to go see Rev Theory, Deadman, and Tencent. Three great bands forming this little club in Regina, Saskatchewan. Shout out to Regina, Saskatchewan. Good city. So, because I was just like, oh my God, I want to see Rev Theory, one of my top favorite bands. I have been a huge follower. So I'm already at this. Three of us were at this little venue with friends of ours, and I'm overhearing behind me these two dudes. They looked at their tickets. Rev Theory. Oh, who's this Rev Theory? Some kind of cover band. I was just like I got mad heat for hearing somebody that just blatantly just called Rev Theory, this hard rock band, a cover band. Now I'm gonna shoot on that. Now don't get me wrong, people today they go to anybody with sound was you know what's on them. If they go see CCR, Crayons Clearwater Revival, they're thinking like, oh, who's this? Some kind of band, some kind of no-name band that has it's just basically a cover band. People tend to really misconstrue a band that John Fogerty made famous. I know what you'll think. Oh, you're getting on topic, but the one thing that just irks me is that people today, they don't know. Oh, go ahead and see Killswitch Engage. Not unless if you know the band, do your research, knowing what kind of band you're going to see and what they sound like, not just off the cuff and don't have viable resources to know. Say, oh, go ahead and see Metallica or Marilyn Manson. Just try and tie it in. But people today that I have come across with, and there's idiots at concerts that are just out to lunch, and they're at this big concert, and you're just kind of like, well, I'm going to see Stone Sour or Slipknot with Apolitica. It was a real show that I woke up next day. I was like, what just happened? What band did I see? And all that, because people today they don't get their facts straight. They don't know what band they see. They think are they just don't have the time or the resources because they're clinically or just like they're brain dead or they don't know. Oh, I went to see Skillet and I was just like fascinated, but didn't know what band they sound like. Here's the thing that people need to know and to really get their act together. If you're going to see Killswitch Engage, for example, for people out there with a sound of voice, do your research upon the band. Know what they sound like. And then once you really quite get the logistics of what they sound like, then you'd be like, oh, I have so copy of physical copy of Killswitch Engage. I'm listening to it. So I'm driving to the venue so I get the logistics of what they sound like. And if it's up to my standards, if they quite qualify, then it'd be like, wow, I'm like, now I know. It's just, I know you're all thinking, well, you must have, well, back in the day when I was coming up listening to music, when I first heard of Metallica, I was, quite like a newbie. But now I quite know, say, I'm listening to Rainbow, the late Brian James Dill's group. I'm up to stuff. I know who this band is. I quite familiar. The band, say, Skillet, which I have been listening to probably since Awake came out. I know what they sound like. I'm very familiar because for those who are out there, I'm not a newbie when it comes to music, unless it's a band that I'm not familiar, like say Spoken, which they quite fall under the Skillet category, that Christian rock style. But Spoken, yeah, that's a topic for another day. But really, the legacy of Lou Reed. Now you're talking about an old school blues rock musician who formed the Velvet Underground like many years ago. I mean, that band to me, and I'm familiar with that band because I grew up with Lou Reed, because Lou Reed, if there was a Mount Rushmore of bluesy hard rock musicians, Lou Reed is like head and shoulders above everybody. But when I heard the band Velvet Underground, I was just like, wow. Hearing a track, Femi Fatale, James says, I mean, that band to me really was kind of like a band that was kind of like swept under the rug. I did not think the Velvet Underground, with all due respect to legacy and memory of Lou Reed, I don't think the Velvet Underground really got the recognition just because it was. You're talking about Lou Reed. This guy was like always top of his game for a guy who fronted the Velvet Underground, had a very good, successful, uh, 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 legendary solo career. The Lou Reed will continue on this part as Sunday tomorrow progresses, but I definitely think we look at the band Velvet Underground, you're kind of thinking, wow, that band really. I mean, most people, what's your actual opinion with the Velvet Underground? Was an Americana rock band that was been around 1964 in New York City. But you think of what Lou Reed transcribed many years before he was inducted to their inducted to the Rock and Roll. But that band has really I mean, you think of who Lou Reed, John Cale, all these other great musicians who really was just kind of like an overnight sensation, and you know. Velvet Underground was kind of like one of those bands were kind of like swept under the rug. Nobody didn't give a hoot about them. I mean, Velvet Underground, they put a lot of great records. And I'm probably going to get a lot of slack saying for this, but the one album was their debut album in Nico. And I did it. I mean, there's a few tracks from the album that was just like, wow. I mean, Family to Tell. That was a track that was just like phenomenal. Here, Lou Reed's bluesy Americana hard rock style. It was just like second to none. I mean, that album had great production. I mean, the artist Andy Warhol, who described designed the album's album. It was just a simple, kind of almost like looking at a painting, kind of like a nice. It's on a white background with a banana, and it says Andy Warhol. You know who Andy Warhol is? Famous painter. So he really had a lot. So he really had a lot of help. He really helped Lou Reed to have like an album cover for their debut album. That really was just like phenomenal. And through the record was commercial be like one of the reasons always have no record that creates all the Nico's now recognized one of the greatest spiritual albums in the history of popular music. Indeed, Brian Eno just said, yeah, it was just sold 30,000 copies and really brought one of these 30,000 copies started a band to 2003 ranked 13 in Rolling Stone magazine list of my greatest albums all the album. Jones like National Recording Registry of Library Copies based on genres of rock music formed alternative music formed by the album. That album went to Skepta in Manhattan, TDC in Hollywood, Maver in Manhattan. And that album really kept the hard rock genre, but they had art rock, proto rock, and psychedelic rock. So, literally being like the godfather of the hard rock style, he kept it. Like he must, like, he just has that talent as a musician. He was born with the gift of gab. I mean, Lou Reed. Let me say this about. I'm not gonna talk more about Lou Reed, but I mean, Developer and Nico was kind of like their big album, but it really didn't quite live up to expectations. But they also follow up with White Light, White Heat, and John Cale, who left Velvet Underground. He was kind of like being I'm not saying he was probably fired, or probably he just kind of like, I need like I mean, White Light, White Heat, that was a real, they must have went through like a more different direction than what they, but Velvet Underground, they kept plugging away, and they put a self-titled album called Velvet Underground, which the first record Doug Hughes was placed for John Cale, so they must need somebody with like a fresh take on music. But when they did both self-titled album, Reed was the band's principal songwriter. I said, I don't think we should be making our White Light White here. I think it would be a terrible mistake. And I really believe that until we had to demonstrate the other side of us, as we come in a little one-dimensional thing. And it had to be avoided at all costs. Our multi-career that was pleased with the direction of going with the new college. So therefore, I definitely thinking about the future. Hopefully people will smart enough or record some company will take all us to do justice. Doug Gillis that the album was a lot of fun. Sessions were constructive and happy. Creating everybody was working together. So the band was just putting up that great album one after they put out the live album. At least the band Velvet Underground stayed relevant. They didn't just kind of like falling off. I don't know if you guys are doing this, but I was at Walmart. This was like months and months, and I stumbled upon a greatest hits album that the Velvet Underground put out. It was just basically the greatest hits. I was just like, what? I'm like, this is like, basically just the greatest hits of the Velvet Underground. Like yeah, it was playlist plus. It was just basically greatest hits of Velvet Underground. I was just like, like it was just yesterday. It feels like I fall off the turnip truck, and I was just like, oh, I was just on the air. I was at Walmart. On the other side of this shelf, all these other records, and I'm trying to find like what's like just so rare. I was just like, are you? And it was like, Velvet Underground album. Yes, I was just like, I was just like.